Hi, my name is Adam Gleason, and this is my video project to talk about media literacy, ideology, and stereotypes in the media, and to evaluate the commercial of my choice. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is media exactly? So some of us may think of media in this particular way. A bunch of people, a bunch of reporters here, standing around one very important person. Right? This is the media. And that's not necessarily false, but here's another version of media. Print media, magazines, newspapers, books. There's all sorts of print media out there that we can view and look at and especially in marketing with advertisements that we see on the road when we're driving or in magazines in different areas. Still others may view media like this: TV, news, movies, the video media that is so prevalent in our society today that has so many different aspects to it. And finally, the last and newest form of media is social media. And this is something that, of course, all of us are very familiar with because it allows us to interact with those companies, to interact with the media that's even being presented, to comment on it, like it, share it, all those kind of things. But what is media literacy? Right? So we got to think about literacy. We've just described media. But what do you think of when you think of literacy? I personally think of books, the ability to read. But literacy also is the ability to critically analyze what you're reading. So it's not only that I can read the words, but I can gain understanding from that, which makes us think about media literacy. Well, if media is this and literacy is this, put them together, well, media literacy is the ability to read and critically understand the media. In other words, media literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media. And in marketing, that's so important because we're creating media that people are going to be able to analyze and evaluate. So we have to be able to know how people are going to analyze and evaluate our media. We have to be media literate ourselves because so many people that are going to be evaluating the media that we create. And our media can create ideologies. But what are ideologies? Well, ideologies are defined as the set of ideas which reflects the beliefs, interests, social needs, and aspirations of an individual, group, class, or culture. So an ideology is the idea behind the belief that you have. And media can have such a huge impact on those ideas. When we see it from so many different angles, our culture begins to cling on to the ideas that's being presented by the media as what things should be. So whether that's who you should be as a man or a woman, or what you should do to be cool, right? We look at the different ways people market their products to say this is what you need to be this way, to have this idea or belief. But ideologies are also informed by stereotypes. We all know what stereotypes are, but here's the definition: a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image of or idea of a particular type of person or thing. So, for example, right, blonde women, they're typically stereotyped as being unintelligent. We know that's not true, but that's how they're portrayed, and it's a very oversimplified image or idea about that particular type of person. And stereotypes are so terrible because they're very hurtful and harmful to the people who they are about. And so we see that ideologies and stereotypes are prevalent in the media today. But in the view of marketing, I wanted to pick a commercial that I could analyze for you to show how these things can be very subtle at times and very overt at times. So I selected this commercial, which is a Volkswagen commercial here. We'll start it over. And in this commercial, we'll just let you watch it and then we'll analyze it.
Hey Darcy, look. 100,000 miles. So, it's a big deal. What if I told you that every time a Volkswagen hits 100,000 miles, a German engineer gets his wings? I hate these wingy thingies.
Yeah, Dad, and I'm sure at 200,000 miles, rainbows shoot out of their butts. Dooby dooby doo. Dooby doo.
Volkswagen has the most vehicles on the road with over 100,000 miles. That's the power of German engineering.
Okay, so this video obviously was kind of a play on words, where people used to say every time so-and-so happened, an angel gets his wings, right? So they play this a little play on words. Volkswagen's a German company, so they say every time a Volkswagen reaches 100,000 miles, a German engineer gets his wings. But while this was kind of a fun little commercial, let's see what the stereotypes and ideology that were being presented in this commercial.
Hey Darcy, look. 100,000 miles.
So right here we see it starts with a white father with, of course, here his white daughter, which, again, maybe it's nothing big. Let's see what happens the rest of the commercial.
It's a big deal. What if I told you that every time a Volkswagen hits 100,000 miles, a German engineer gets his wings?
So let's take a look at this picture here. Here's what we have. We have 3 white males, 2 white males, and 1 white female. So 5 white males and 1 white female working on this car. Now we've been told that they're engineers. We don't see very much diversity here, especially that 5 are men, all of them white, and only 1 is a woman. Right here, another situation. Here's another engineer working on the inside of the car. Again, a white male. Here we go in the background of this. 3 more white males. Here in the elevator, we add 1 more white female to our engineering list, with another white male. In this scene, we see 2 more white males that are engineers. Again, 2 more right here, white males. We can kind of see into the back here. We have 1 white male. This may be a female here. I'm not quite sure at this distance. Again, 2 more white males as engineers. This was quick. You might not have even noticed it, but this is a white male, black male, but this person has been covered up by the wing very quickly. Let's replay it here for you. Saw it that time, but it was really, really quick. The first time we've seen a black male or female in this commercial. Now in this scene, we have 1 white male here. We've got some different diversity down here. We see a black male here, we see some females over here, another one here, but the majority are white males. Again, here's a white male, and notice he's the second person to have a speaking role in this film.
I hate these wingy thingies.
Yeah, Dad, and I'm sure at 200,000 miles, rainbows shoot out of their butts.
So again, we end this commercial with a white male and the scene of a white male and his daughter driving in the car. So we know that this is not necessarily what the commercial was trying to portray, but what we see is that there are several different stereotypes happening. One is that engineers are only white males. The other is that females and non-white males are not smart enough to be engineers. And the third is that if you're a white male, that you should be in a very white-collar career. The ideology that's being shown here is that all women and non-white males are not smart enough to be engineers. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of this commercial. I don't think that Volkswagen was trying to be racist or sexist, but that's the way that it can come across to different people, which is why you have to be very careful about the media that you create. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.